So welcome back, everybody, to another Scripture in the Smoke. Hopefully, within the next week or two, I'll be able to be putting some more putting videos out on a more of a normal basis instead of kind of sporadically, because I won't be as busy. Because the semester's winding down. The only thing I'll be doing over the summer is writing, so I'll have plenty of time to sit here and do some videos with you guys. So for today's Scripture, I was actually just bouncing around seeing what I could read. I like going kind of like special days. So this is actually taken from in the middle of May of this year. It's the feast of Saint Matthias the Apostle. So I will actually be reading the Gospel. So this is the Gospel of St. John, chapter 15, verses 9 to 17. Jesus said to his disciples, "As the Father loves me, so I also love you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love. Just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remained in his love. I've told you this so that my joy might be in you and your joy might be complete. There's no command. This is my commandment. Love one another as I have loved you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I no longer call you slaves, because a slave does not know what his master is doing. I call you friends, because I have told you everything I have heard from my Father. It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you, and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will remain, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give you. This I command you, love one another." So from this, there's a couple things I get from this. So, as we know right now, we are actually in the year of mercy that Pope Francis has inaugurated or established, whichever word you want to use it. That's the really big theme of his papacy is mercy. And I know there's a lot of critics from probably the more ultra-conservative probably side of the church. And, I'm a very conservative person. I'm not liberal in any sense of the imagination, but I'm a reasonable person. And I find this actually amongst mostly just Americans, just because we're a very politicized environment in the United States. That's just the way our culture is. So it's kind of hard to get away from that. I've heard people call the Pope a socialist, and I think they say that because he wants the well-being of everybody. And that's kind of along the tenets of socialism a little bit, but the actual tenets of socialism is not compatible with Christianity, period. It just doesn't happen. So, I could probably say he probably has like some very big social ideas of what he would like to see done, of just helping one another. And I don't think that's really much to ask. And I think as Christians, we should help our lesser brothers and sisters. But does that mean we should take away from other brothers and sisters who are, doing well to give to the poor? No, because that's just stealing. It's just not right. And I don't use the word fair because you hear that thrown a lot. This isn't fair, that isn't fair. It isn't fair that I don't make $10 million a year. But that's just the way it is, because guess what? I don't have a job that I can make $10 million a year. So what? Money isn't everything. Just as long as I have enough food to eat, and me and my family can get by, and that we enjoy life, that's all that matters. Too much of this day, these day and age, especially in the West, it's all about what we have. It's not what we can give and the quality of our life. It's more of like, what can we have, and it's just, I think we're looking in the wrong direction. We're looking in the wrong area. That's just my personal take on it. And the other thing that actually struck me at the end of the passage was where Jesus says, "It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you." I think this really, really reminds me of the priesthood, or the priesthood / religious life. And this actually really reminds me of a video I watched about 4 years ago on YouTube. It was on the so-called Catholic women priests. And I'm not really going to get into the whole dynamic of why we only have a male priesthood, and it's not a chauvinistic pick type of thing. But anyway, they're interviewing one of these women who um, became a priest, who got ordained. Even though the actions might happen, nothing actually happens spiritually. So anyway, she was saying how she had wanted to be a priest her whole entire life and that she deserved it. Anybody who has that mindset does not deserve to be a priest, because that's the whole point of having a vocation, of discerning your vocation. It isn't like, what do I want? It's, what is God calling me to do? And being humble about it, not saying like, oh, God's calling me this, so I'm just going to, like, I deserve to go do it. No, nobody deserves it, period. We're all called to it. It is a call of service. It is a call of sacrifice. It is the call of Jesus' life. And that's the whole point of the priesthood. So that's kind of what I get out of it. You might have got something else out of the whole passage, but I like giving you my comments. All right. Okay, so for today's cigar, I have, it's the OPK Maduro. This actually stands for Old Powder Keg by Battleground Cigars. And I'm trying to find the specs on this because I wasn't exactly sure the size of this. I'm saying this is their what is it here? This is the howitzer, is what I'm going to say it is, because it's a 6x54. So it's about, I don't think that's a 7. Actually, it might be a 7, but I'm not really sure. So it's really hard to tell because I don't smoke a lot of big ring gauges a lot of times, so I really have trouble kind of seeing what size it is. I don't think it's a 56. That's why I think it's the 54. So it's the howitzer. So it actually comes. Uh, the wrapper is a Maduro Corojo wrapper. The binder is a Connecticut broadleaf, and that's actually it. I don't know what else is actually inside because they don't say. From the smell, it smells like a. It's kind of hard. It almost smells like chocolate, but there's something else in there. It's almost like chocolate mixed with just like a sugar sweetness. It's kind of hard to pinpoint. So anyway, I will get this cut up here. Oh, and the appearance of it. It is like, it looks like a traditional Maduro wrapper. It's fairly dark. Um, Fairly good construction. There's one spot, it's just like a blemish you can see on there. So I mean, I'm not super big on appearance. I mean, it don't really bother me too much. Just as long as it smokes well. I mean, it doesn't have to look beautiful to me, but aesthetics are nice. And my one critique, and this is just me being picky, I don't like ginormous bands on them. I mean, it's kind of cool for advertising, but at the same time, I prefer not. I don't like them. I like smaller bands because I actually like to hold on to the band when I'm smoking it. Or like this, it's like I have to take it off within like 15 minutes. So I'm gonna go and just take it off now before I even light it, because I just want to get rid of it. So that way I can take a look at the rest of the cigar as well. That's pretty nice. There's no ginormous veins in there. Well, before I cut it, it was a double cap, I would say. So let's go and get it lit up here. Hopefully I still got fluid in here. Maybe. We'll see. I'll be right back. You'll love it. I about got it half lit and then my lighter totally went out. So it's kind of a bummer. But anyway, there we go. right out of the get-go, very full-bodied. Has a sweet cayenne pepper flavor. So I get sweetness on the tongue, and I also get the cayenne pepper blast in my entire palate, on the roof of my mouth, through the retrolyte. That's pretty much what I'm saying with. So cayenne pepper and sweetness. So I will be back here in a little bit to kind of let you guys know where it's at. All right. All right. So I'm about 10 minutes in. I just did the ash off just so it's kind of windy out here, so I don't want to blow another place. So had about 3/4 of an ash on there before I just dripped it off. Very potent cigar. Very. Somebody's playing the music loud. Kind of as the name indicates, old powder keg. So I expected it to be bold, and it is actually a very bold cigar. And actually, I am enjoying it very much because this is right up my alley. I enjoy big, bold, spicy cigars. That's just the way I've always been. I do enjoy some milder cigars, like a Monte Cristo. Those are decently good. Or no, not Monte Cristo. Macanudos. I do enjoy Macanudos. They are a very light cigar, but they have very good flavors. So I do enjoy those. But I do enjoy the big, bold flavors. And this is right. This is getting right up there. So like that cayenne pepper, and it's almost a cinnamon tangleness as well. Still some sweetness, and there's I just had it, but I just lost it. There's another flavor in there. Coffee. That's what it was. It's coffee. It's very nice, very, very, very enjoyable. I'm very much enjoying this stick. So I will be back here, depending on how it changes. If it starts changing up, I'll come back in a third. But if not, I'll probably come back at the half. All right. So I'll be back in a little bit with a little update on it. All right. All right. So I'm getting about the first third done. Not much has changed a little bit. There's not as that big of a cayenne pepper feel to your mouth, but the flavor is still there. But the feeling isn't quite as intense. I'm still getting a lot of sweetness, especially on the finish. It kind of like washes through, just like if you took like a drink of something sweet. There's still a bit of that coffee there. And I almost feel like there's something else in there as well. But it's kind of hard. It's like a lightness to it that's going along with the sweet. Like it almost reminds me when I'm drinking, like bourbon or something. Which actually, I just came back out from inside and I actually poured myself a little bit of. This is Bullet bourbon. This is actually my favorite bourbon. I've only had a few bourbons, but this is like phenomenal. It like tastes good. It is very sweet. A little bit of like caramel and stuff to it. It's very delicious. And I've been trying to kind of like broaden myself into more alcohol. Because before a long time, I was just like a Canadian Club and Coke type of guy. That's why I drink beer as well, but I never really drank whiskey straight. I would drink some scotches. I would just drink them neat, maybe a little bit of water, but that's about it. But this stuff actually, I don't add any water to it. I drink it as is. Uh, and the longer you kind of leave it to kind of open up a little bit, the sweeter it gets. So, but anyway, this is not a bourbon review. This is a cigar review. So I just figured, just with the way the cigar is going, I wanted to pair it with that. And the bold bourbon is not too overpowering, but this is a very bold stick, so it would be able to handle the mixture. So anyway, I will be back here when I'm done with the second third, all right? Whew. So how's it going, everybody? So getting on with the second third here. Um, it's a very linear stick. All the flavors I was talking about earlier, it's pretty much stayed the same. I mean, I'm not dogging it for that. I prefer. I don't really. I don't need complexity, just as long as the flavors are good. That's all I personally care about. This stick is definitely, as it says, powder cake. It is definitely a powder cake. It is a very enjoyable cigar. I I'm not really a big fan of anything above maybe about a 52 ring gauge, but that's personal preference. I generally, I like 48 is probably my favorite. Probably like a Churchill size. That's like my ideal size cigar for like if I'm just out here relaxing. Now I enjoy petite Coronas. I enjoy regular Coronas. I would like to try this one in a smaller ring gauge size. I think they even have like maybe like a 49 or something like that. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm almost afraid to because like I think that'd be a little bit punchier. But again, there could be some Lajero in here that's giving it that really kick, so it might be ramped down with the size. It all depends on how they blend it. So far, again, just to reiterate what I was talking about before, I'm still getting that cayenne pepper in the mouth. Definitely the retrohale. The sweetness is still there. I'm getting a strong coffee. It's kind of hard to. It's not really like a coffee flavor, but like the aftertaste that you get from coffee. Um, not a slight bitterness, but not much. But again, that could be influencing with the bourbon I've been drinking. Which actually, as a side note, um, right now is a season for Japanese beetles. They're like all over the place. I've actually killed about 8 of them on my porch just because they're annoying and they hurt and they bite. And they're an invasive species. And being in agriculture, I try to kill as many as I possibly can because they are not supposed to be here. They can be very detrimental to native vegetation. As a little story, I used to work at a student farm over at Purdue when I was an undergrad, and I planted grapes out there. I was going to try to get a little vineyard going. Nothing super, just I think I had like I don't know something like 30 plants or something like that out there. Japanese beetles came in and eradicated them, just chewed the living crap out of them. And we had a whole bunch of traps set up all over the farm. I think we probably had like a dozen of these pheromone traps, but they were just filled to the brim every day. And we keep on refilling them, and they just keep on filling up. They're just all over the place. And at the farm, we didn't use any pesticides because we're trying to follow like natural practices. It was kind of like, even though I'm not a really big opponent of organic, because you can never feed the world on organic farming. You just can't do it. There's too many diseases out there. There's too many um, pathogens. There's too many insects. You just cannot control it by organic means. In a larger scale, maybe like the really small farms they can get away with it. But if you're talking, like hundreds of acreages, you just can't do it. It's not possible. But anyway, that's a little side note. But one of them flew into my bourbon I had here, so I actually killed him instantly, which I think, yeah, he's over there. Yeah, but bourbon is strong enough. It's high enough proof that you can actually use it to sanitize stuff. You can like use it as like antiseptic. That's how strong it is. But anyway, so I had to go pour myself some new. But I will be back here probably around the end of it, kind of give you my final thoughts, right? All right, so I'm getting towards the end. I'm going to finish up. It's starting to get a little warm, but I got to finish some work up. So, and again, nothing's changed at all from it. Again, it's a very linear stick, which is not a bad thing. If you're into extremely complex sticks with a transition stuff like that, you're not going to find it here. If you want a good, strong, bold stick that you can enjoy with harder liquors, with a stronger beer, after a heavy meal, I would not actually eat this, or I would not smoke this midday. It'd just be too overpowering, especially on an empty stomach. I would probably get a little woozy from it. But very good stick. I really want to try the smaller ring gauges to see how they compare, if it's still the same flavor profile, if it's as strong, or if they blend it for that size. And again, I don't know. So what what a lot of people do when they blend a cigar, they tend to. It's not so much the rule anymore, but normally they would blend for one size. So normally, traditionally, it'd be a robusto. So whatever their blend is, they would blend it for that robusto. And if they wanted to go up in ring gauge or down ring gauge, they would tweak the blend for that size so they kind of get the same experience from it. Again, I don't know if they do that with this. Some manufacturers, each size will have a different flavor profile. So it all depends. I don't know. There's no information on it. I didn't look at any other review, so I can't tell you. But if you like something where you're getting a good spicy pop out of it with some sweetness, this is for you. So I will let everybody go. And actually, I like to thank, I cannot remember his name off the life of me, but I will put it in there. Um, it's the rep for Battleground Cigars. He's the one who gave me this. And actually, I'd like to apologize as well to him. He gave me a stick a while ago, which I know I did a review on. I just never posted it. And I'm not really sure. Like, I have to go back and look at my files because I don't think I ever posted it. I might have accidentally erased it because I've just been so busy with everything. So I did review another cigar of theirs, but if I do have it, I will put it up before this one, so you'll be able to see that one and then this one. So God bless everybody, and everybody have a wonderful night and a wonderful weekend.